Good morning, Internet. This is the old fat dad. Welcome back to the Goober Nation gun range. Here we are, coming up on the 25-yard line. But for today's video, we're going to be pushing out quite a bit farther, out to 200 yards. Let me show what I got. It is a hot and humid day out here, so please excuse the old fat dad sweat. I'm making this video after having watched a great channel for long-range shooting. It's Max and Sam, or Mark and Sam After Work. I'll put the link up here. What they did is test out a couple different kinds of 22 ammo at some pretty far distances. I think they went out to 300 yards. Their hypothesis was that the hypervelocity ammo actually does better at those longer distances than the standard velocity ammo, which goes against everything that I've kind of discovered in my own shooting. But my shooting has always been about 50 yards and maybe 100 yards. So I'm going to do a little peer review, I guess, of their testing and see if it bears out for my shooting. So come on over to the table, let me show what I got. I've got here 4 different kinds of ammo, and I'm using 2 of the kinds that Mark and Sam used. The CCI Velocitor for a hypervelocity and the CCI Standard Velocity for the standard velocity. We also have some regular high velocity match ammo that I'm going to mix in there from Federal. Oops. And of course we're going to be shooting the old Ruger 1022, and I've got a 4x16 scope on top. Our target is all the way out at 200 yards. I'm going to shoot 10 shot groups, and we'll throw out the flyer and see what our best 9 shots out of 10 look for each kind of ammo, and see if they match up to what old Mark and Sam found out on their video. Alright, let's get started. We're gonna do the standard velocity first. Loading up 10 shots. We'll throw out the worst one and measure our best 9. And as you can see, the shooting setup isn't the greatest today. I managed to grab the wrong bipod and bags, so we are going to improvise yet again and work with what we got. But this feels pretty darn sturdy, so hopefully we get a good group. Alright, let's get started with our 10 rounds of CCI Standard Velocity. My scope is maxed out on elevation, and I think I'm still about 4 MOA too low. So I'm going to hold a little high and shoot my group. Whew. Still too low. I'm going to have to use my Kentucky windage to be able to hit our target out here. Okay, here we go.
There we go.
That should be it. Woo! Okay, let's take a look at that group, and we'll get loaded up with our high velocity next. With our standard velocity, we got about a 4-inch group. I'll make sure to post up the actual target for you. And I dialed all the elevation out of my scope. It's a Vortex Diamondback Tactical 4x16, so it's got a good bit of elevation in the turrets. And then I held at the 6 MOA hash mark. Alright, 10 shots, Federal high velocity match. I'm going to hold it about 2 MOA up. Let's see what we get.
That's not good.
man. Well, I don't know if you could tell, but to my ears it sounded like 2 or 3 of those rounds were supersonic and a bunch of them were subsonic, and this is rated for 1,200 feet per second, so they all should be supersonic. I haven't seen the group yet, I can't really tell from back here, but it makes me wonder how good it actually was. Let's walk down there and we'll take a look. Looks like our federal gold medal high velocity match ammo gave us about a 5-inch group. There is a flyer that went kind of high that opened it up to 7, but still the winner so far is the Standard Velocity. We'll move on to the Velocitor and see if we can get a better group than that. Tell you, it is the first real nasty hot day today. Whew, feels good. Okay, here we go. So what you just saw was an old fat guy who's pretty sure something was going wrong, but couldn't figure out exactly what it was. And what do you know, bullets with greatly different velocities take greatly different flight paths. And it just turns out that standard velocity and high velocity ammo were arcing in a particular way that they avoided hitting any branches in this valley shooting range I'm in. But the velocitors at a much higher velocity, shooting a little bit flatter, were on the perfect trajectory to nail a branch that was hanging across the range. And this led to some very awful groups. Well, good news is I've got another day to shoot. I've got some more ammo. Bad news is it's not Velocitor. It's going to be the Aguila Interceptor instead, which has similar weight, 40 grains, and a similar velocity, about 1,400 feet per second. So let's wrap up this 200-yard comparison with our Hypervelocity ammo, and we'll check out the group size. Okay, 10 rounds of the Aguila Interceptor, 200 yards. My cheek rest is super hot. I shouldn't have used black tape, I think. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Okay, here we go. Whew! Still super hot out here. I'm gonna go down there, check our results, and we'll post it up for you to see yourself. Well, it looks like to me we got about a 6-inch group with that Aguila Interceptor. At 200 yards, that's about 3 MOA, so it's not bad. It's pretty close to what we got with the Standard Velocity. I think the Standard Velocity edged it out a little bit in accuracy, but the big benefit I think a lot of people will say is with the Hypervelocity, I can use my turrets to dial in at 200 yards. Anyhow, that was my experience with my rifle and my setup here at 200 yards with 2 different kinds of ammo. If you do this kind of shooting with the 22 LR, kind of at longer ranges, I'd be interested in hearing what your experience is. And again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, and we'll see you next time.